Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 401 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What's up, gang? Just a friendly reminder, it's gone fishing season for the Chiclets boys. So welcome to the first of our summer interview series. We got a half a dozen beauties lined up for you, some great stuff on tap while we recharge our batteries. And the first one is brought to you by our friends at Pink Whitney. The birdie juice is all the rage at Buffalo at the Chiclets Cup once again and has been all summer. So make sure you belly up to your favorite stool for a chilled shot or a mixed drink or however else you like the 5 times distilled vodka infused with fresh pink lemonade flavor. And right now, we're going to send it over to our pal, 2001 Stanley Cup winner, Scott Parker. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome our next guest to the show here in beautiful Colorado. This guy was one of the baddest dudes to lace him up in the early 2000s. After being drafted 20th overall by the Avalanche in 1996, he spent his first 4 years here in Denver, where he won a Stanley Cup in 2001. After spending a few years in San Jose, he finished up his career back here in Colorado before retiring in 2009. And these days, he's a volunteer firefighter here, in addition to running his charity, Parker's Platoon. Thanks so much for joining us on the Spittin Chiclets podcast, to making the trip down from the mountains, Scott Parker. How's it going, brother?
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me.
How about that intro?
That was pretty sick. I think that's probably the longest intro I've ever had in my whole life.
And a redraft that ended up going higher. Normally when guys, because you were drafted 63rd overall originally by the New Jersey Devils, and apparently you guys could not come to a contract negotiation. I don't know if you were acting as your own agent and trying to bully them into more money, but ended up going redrafted 20th overall after getting, 30-something tucks in the Western League.
Yeah, that was a good year. Talking over with my agent, I didn't really know any better back in the day, and I don't know if he did. But it was just circumstance. And, Jersey back in the day, they were a powerhouse, and they were winning almost every year. And looking at that lineup, even trying to break that lineup, I was like, hell, am I ever going to play in the NHL, even on this team? So that's why we kind of thought about just going back and seeing how it worked. And, I know we tossed the dice, but fortunately it worked out because, like you said, most of the guys that go back in, they go, a lot higher rounds. So.
Yeah. You might have got the contract you were looking for, but if you were looking for it, but Lou, I don't know if you guys had hand-to-hand negotiations with him when you were going through that process.
Lou, yeah, he was different to deal with back in the day. But it is what it is. They got to keep their stuff down and they got to do their jobs. So we understand that, but we also have to take care of ourselves as well. So,
were you completely bought into your agent, even though maybe now you understand he didn't know what he was doing, but we were like, hey, whatever you say, I'm doing.
You mean Better Call Saul?
Or at one point we were like, maybe I should check in with somebody else here and see if this is the right way.
Honestly, at that time, coming from the hockey world, like my dad was never in hockey, so I was the first gen, so it was like a lot of other families out there that just have one person in the family. If you don't know any better, then you just go with the flow. So it was really just kind of going with it. And back then there was no internet, no any of that kind of stuff. So, we didn't have anything to refer off of. So we just tossed the dice and I went back to the dub and I got 30 Genos and tuned up a bunch of guys. And I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, we should probably back it all up. I'm not exactly sure where you were born, but I know you were raised in Alaska. So you're a wilderness guy. You love it through and through. And I'm sorry we had to drag you downtown Denver, because you're not really inclined with the city much.
Not really, not anymore. No, I'm definitely more of a mountain man, and I like the sticks. I'm not a tree hugger, but I'd rather talk to a tree than sometimes people. You get more out of the conversation sometimes, but it's just, I don't know, there's something tranquil about it. And growing up in Alaska, and my dad being a federal game warden, and just doing all that stuff, it's just from my roots, and I like getting back to it.
What part of Alaska?
Eagle River, right outside of Anchorage.
Wow. And your father, what'd you say, he's federal game warden?
He was a federal game warden, yeah.
Wow, can you explain for people who don't know what that is, what that
like
entails?
All of us?
Yeah, so
I think it has something to do with wildlife, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so wildlife conservation, stuff like that. He dealt with a lot of the villages up there, going in and just making sure everything was taken responsibly and stuff wasn't being poached and, stuff like that. But he'd be flying along the beaches in Alaska and just seeing walruses washed up on the beach with their tusks cut out of them, and people want them just for the ivory, just like the elephants down in Africa. So it's kind of that whole trade thing, but it kind of sucks too.
Yeah.
So he was there to protect the animals and to make sure everybody abided by what they were supposed to.
Well, he's then kind of manhunting people in terms of the ones who are breaking the law, right?
Correct.
That's a pretty badass job.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's awesome, and I think if I wouldn't have played hockey, because he was a military guy, and I think I would have went military and probably followed his steps, but hockey kind of took off. And I still remember back when I was playing juniors, he was talking to Bruce Hamilton, the GM of the Kelowna Rockets back then, and he was like, yeah, your son may play in the NHL. And my dad was like, really?
What the fuck?
You just never know. You just don't think that, that's in the cards, or that could be a pathway, but it was, and it happened. And so
did you think at one point you were going to follow in his footsteps? And a follow-up, you talked about the walrus situation. Any other crazy stories that you were a part of because your father was doing it?
Well, a lot of the stuff like the gallbladders and bears, the Asians like that for certain things. So it's just a lot of animals being taken unresponsibly and not being utilized and just left. I mean, it just kind of sucks that people can do stuff like that, but it still happens, and that's why there's guys like my dad and other guys in the industry that do what they do. So,
and did you at one point want to take over in his footsteps?
I think so. I mean, at one point, I was definitely going military. Like I said, if hockey didn't pan out, I was going military, and definitely probably would have tried to get special forces and got on a team and just did work. So that was definitely my mindset.
What's youth hockey like up in Alaska? Do you travel down to the U.S., to Canada? Because there can't be a lot of teams to play.
A little bit. I think it's a little better now with everything. But back when I was playing, it was, a lot of just playing in Alaska. We went to Buffalo one year. I remember seeing Pat LaFontaine's, I think he was a rookie that year, so it was probably 88, 89, around that time. And I was like, holy cow, this is unbelievable. But didn't get out of Alaska much. But the cool thing about Alaska is we had high school hockey. So we'd have our house or our comp teams, and then when high school hockey would start, all the other hockey stopped, and you play high school hockey, and you go to championship, and once that's done, you go back to playing your other hockey. So
a lot of ice,
a lot of hockey, but 9 months out of the year is winter, so you got to do something, or you go fucking crazy.
And was it pretty good in terms of maybe the cost not being as high as it would be in Boston or Toronto and things like that, where there was so much ice time available? It wasn't as bad on your parents?
I think so. Then plus we had a lot of outdoor rinks too, so every school has 2 to 4 ice rinks, and you bring your shovel and pucks and you just give her. So it was old school hockey. We actually used to skate on ponds and have them crack and doing all the stuff thinking you're going to fall through, but it's just what you do.
Are you same age as G Love, Scotty Gomez?
Oh yeah, me and Gomer.
Oh Jesus.
We played against each other quite a bit. Never were on the same team. He was from Anchorage. He always played on different teams, and being from Eagle River, I was on different teams. So, but Gomer's awesome. We know his family really well, and he's done really, really good. And being able to take the cup to Alaska, I mean, that's unbelievable. So. That was cool. And he took it there first, bastard.
I can only imagine the stuff you would get into in the summer times there with some of your time off. I thought going to play manhunt with my buddies was badass, or maybe some street hockey. What other things were you doing? Obviously big fishermen.
Oh yeah, that and dodging bears, that and moose, and it's just wild. I mean, everything's big, everything's out there. I mean, my mom used to kick me out and say, go let the stink blow off you, and come back before the lights, or
and it was light all summer, right?
Basically, yeah.
So you only got 2 hours
basically,
of dark.
don't come home for 3 months.
Exactly, yeah. Don't come home. Just go build a fort and go live in it. But yeah, it was really cool living up in Alaska, and really the thing that kind of helped me out up there was the dividend check too, which is the oil pipeline revenue that residents get when you're there for a period of time. You get paid to live up there and be a resident.
No way.
So I was able to use that money to pay for my hockey and buy skates and sticks and do all the stuff. And because, the stuff ain't cheap. So we didn't have Canadian Tire. We didn't get the $8 sticks, unfortunately. But, whenever we could get the deals, we got those and made it work. So.
All right, before you hop in here, I was just going to ask, so as a kid, were you always a scrapper? Because obviously you were a good player to a certain degree where you were able to keep advancing and scoring goals. You talked about the Western League. When did you starting to cave people's faces in become a reality?
Yeah, I was such a pussy when I was a kid. I mean, I remember even times my friends punching me in the face, and I would just do nothing about it. I was never confrontational. Wow. I was never, angry. I had an unbelievable home life. My parents were awesome. I mean, I was never beat. There was times I probably should have gotten beat, but
at least the belt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little structure is good, and I got it from time to time because my dad would be gone from a week to 3 weeks on some assignments, and mom's trying to be both parents, and wait until your dad gets home. And I was like, yeah, right. Yeah. But then dad got home, I was like, oh shit, I was shitting pennies
came back.
For sure. Yeah, dad came back.
You're like, I'd rather the bear.
Exactly. But it's just those things you learn when you're little. But Alaska was fucking awesome because just getting to play and like going to the river, like you said, fishing. And we used to jump off the bluffs, and literally right around the corner, there was 4 or 5 bear just fishing. You know, they were just eating salmon, doing what they did, and we were playing right down from them. So we just live in cohesiveness.
What's the scariest interaction you had with a bear? Like you ever get a pants shitting situation? Like, oh man, this could be it.
I have a tattoo on my left arm here. It's actually of a scene. There's a mama bear and 2 cubs. And my dad and I were out in his plane, which is tattooed on my chest as well. I got a couple of tattoos, but yeah, but literally I was fishing at the river, and my dad went back to the plane, and about 10 minutes goes by, and he's like, "Scott, where you at? Where you at?" I was like, "I'm fishing." He's like, "Bear." I was like, "Oh shit." So I'm reeling in, I'm trying to run, and the brush is 5-6 feet, and I'm only 3 feet, so he can kind of see brush moving. I break through the brush, and I got a 44 Magnum, facing me, and he's thinking it's the bear, charging him. So it was kind of a scary scene. But at that point, he had walked out a perimeter around the plane, so whatever did come through, he could advance on or take care of. But then I come bushing through, and he throws me in the plane, and we take off, and he circles back around the area we were, and you can see the mama and the 2 cubs sitting right, like probably 20 feet from where the plane was.
Jesus. And you have that tatted on your arm.
Yep. Right there, the bear.
God damn it, I have a scarecrow.
Biz has a pumpkin that's rotted out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but it's sort of a story when, fuck. No story.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were a state champion in high school, but I understand it was in soccer, and you were the goalie.
Yeah, I was actually a goalie, but we also won in hockey as well. But, I tried soccer. I wasn't really as good at that because you can't hit people, which kind of sucks. I was like, what's wrong with this? But I guess that's rugby. So different sport, but, just trying to do anything you could do in Alaska to fill your time and to do something. I mean, it's the Great White North. So.
And I think you said your dad was chatting with the Kelowna GM or something. They kind of scouted you and were like, "Hey, let's go. Come with us." Or?
Yeah, they were actually the Tacoma Rockets back in the day, and they moved to Kelowna my first year when the inaugural year that the Rockets were in Kelowna. So that was kind of the first for everybody to learn all around the town, because at least when you come to a town, people kind of know where to go or what to do or what not to do. But you go to K-Town, and nobody knew anything, so it was like free reign, and you figure it out. So
beautiful area, though, right?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Yeah, being there in the Okanagan and knowing so many of like the Stars, Dallas Stars, and like my buddy Eric Goddard lives up in Vernon. I mean, there's a lot of guys in that area, and we used to go up almost every summer just to do training camps and stuff anyway with like David Roy. I think he did some stuff with the Philly Flyers and stuff like that, but trying to do anything we could to advance or try to bring something to something different every year, so the team wasn't like, oh, just another bag of shit. You bring something different, and they're like, holy hell, he brought his game. So
hey, DJ, your son was telling me about how you were doing these like these courses throughout all your acreage, and how you would train. You would put like
chains on his
chain
fist.
links on your fists. You would punch trees until you chopped them down.
Oh yeah.
And then you would do like crawling through the mud, shoot guns, and like bring us through this whole training regimen.
We literally had an American Ninja Warrior with a gun range before American Ninja Warrior was around. So it was just cool and something different. And I was just tired of going to the gym and being told I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that, because certain things I was doing, people would try it after I was gone, and then they would end up into the mirror or fucking themselves up. And then why is that my fault? Like, that's on them. If they can't
I was able to do it fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, figure it the fuck out, right? But so eventually just stopped going to gyms, and it's like, I'll just make my own. And we had tires, and we were hitting hammers and just doing the old school, Muscle Beach stuff, as well as, climbing ropes and doing all sorts of crazy shit, as well as having the range at the end. So you had to control your breathing, get on target, and do work. So it was just something cool and different, and that's what we used to do.
And the chains punching down trees, that's a fact.
Yeah, I used to wrap my hands in chains, and I used to either hit trees, or our neighbors had some Scottish Highland bulls. So like they were always kind of ornery, always kind of pushing the fence back. So then I just start taxing them in the head and seeing if I could knock them out. So it was fun.
Oh,
This
geez.
guy called himself a pussy
You're
growing
going to
up.
have PETA coming after you because of the Spittin Chiclets podcast. After giving CTE to some of these Highland cattle.
Well, when you have horns like them, I think it's a happy. Yeah, you're good. Plus they got thick skulls. They're good.
Imagine a kid back home that used to punch him and not do anything. He's like, I used to punch Parker all the time.
Yeah.
Now hearing this story.
A Highland cattle himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parker's like, I'd like to see that kid again.
So with the connection between your father, so you ended up going over to Kelowna, and that's how you got your start. At that point, had you started fighting in hockey yet, or was it pretty much just told to you, if you want to be successful in the Western League, this is what we have you for?
I played a year junior B, so in the KIJHL, I played in Spokane. The first year we had moved down from Alaska because I wasn't about to hop the nest, or leaving Alaska, being down in lower 48 again, and then, leaving and be like, oh, this is too much. So I played a year junior B, got in 2 tilts that year, and actually did pretty good against this one guy. So I was like, oh, this shit ain't too bad. And then, getting drafted into the Dub. Here's a fun story. So Jamie Butter was his nickname. He was actually on the Rockets, and during training camp, and as well as every hockey player knows, you get tested. So it was my time to get tested, and Butter, which was a cagey guy, had been in I don't know how many fights. I'd been in 2 fights in my life.
He was the current, say, heavyweight of Kelowna.
Yeah, it was like Jamie Butt, and then we had Dale Parrington as well.
Oh,
so we had,
wow.
Yeah, we had Dale and Butter.
Jesus.
So yeah,
Those
it was
3.
It was good. So it was a good break in. At least they taught me. They taught me a lot. They took me under their wings. They showed me a lot of stuff that, after Butter broke my nose and I was about to quit hockey, and I'm like, this sucks. And Bruce is like, quit, messing with the kid. Like, we need him. He's going to be a, possibly a good player. So let's not, fuck his mind up and wash him. So it just kind of all worked out, and got back to K-Town, and the boys actually fucked me there too, because they called my billet house and they said, this is so-and-so from the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and we're excited to have you. And I was like, holy shit, I just got fucking traded. I don't know what's going on. I just got to this city. So it was an adventure, but it was just what the boys do, and the rousing, and it's just that camaraderie that I think is probably the biggest thing I miss being done, is having those stories and being able to sit and chill and relax and just having that time. I know we don't like the bag skates and all the bullshit, but having the boys telling all the funny stories.
So you were loving it. That was your real first experience from being away from home, getting Raz, and like being part of a team, especially at a high level in the WHL.
Exactly. Yeah, that, and we had some good rivalries. We had Kamloops Blazers. We had pretty much every team we played was pretty stacked. I mean, they had Jerome McGinley. They had they had a lot of really really good players. I think Doan played for them. I think the one year
he played with Kamloops.
Yeah.
Kamloops Blazers. Now, that's the next thing I was going to ask you. You played in the WHL during a time, especially coming in as a young guy and having to do those duties, where there were just guys that, like, basically the boogeyman. You couldn't pregame nap. You were probably scared shitless the day of, knowing you were going to have to go inside a barn and fist fight these guys.
Exactly. That, and like I said, we're all going to high school at the time as well. So it's just, you're in this brand new town. You're trying to figure it all out. You're just a kid trying, in a whole new city trying to figure this shit out, but it all worked out. But
the anxieties, though, those kind of were early on for you with the fighting, or was it more like you kind of knew you were pretty good at it and you were okay with it?
Honestly, I think I had a couple fights. I would hit guys 1 or 2 times, they'd go down. I was like, because you're watching
Just
movies.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God, I'm Superman. This is unbelievable. Because I hit somebody twice and they go down. Because
like the bad guy in Bloodsport.
Yeah, you watch these movies and like they're throwing chairs at each other and shit's happening. You're punching someone and they're going down. You're like, holy hell, this is easy.
This is way different than
this is way different. But I think it was just my size, and really, Butter had to retire with a back injury, and then Parrington got traded to Lethbridge. So basically we were stuck with nobody. And I was looking around the locker room and watching my guys get hit and certain things happening. I was like, nope, I'm not good with this. And then I just kind of took it upon myself and started to figure it out. And the things that Butter and Parrington taught me back in the day, I just started to apply and started to create my own things and just build it from there.
And here's a word from our friends at Sport Clips. How long has it been since your last haircut? Well, it might be time to head to Sport Clips. They've just developed a brand new, super relaxing signature scent on their perfectly steamed hot towel. It's been formulated specifically to bring the relaxation of the MVP haircut experience up to another level. It's something that you have to smell to believe. Make sure when you go in that you ask your stylist for the MVP experience. Not only will you get to try the new scent, but you'll get the 7-point massaging shampoo too. Smell like an MVP. Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair.
And numbers-wise in the Dub, it must have been cool, because the goals went up the second year. The goals went up even more the third year. The PIMs went up the second year and then went down, because I'm guessing you finally feeling the respect and people seeing, and you seeing the fear in people's eyes with you, it must have felt pretty good. Like, holy shit, like I'm becoming so good at this that I'm now scoring goals when I want, and I'm also not even really having to fight as much.
Exactly. Nice when no one's going near you either.
Yeah, well, that's the mentality.
Opposite of what I dealt with.
Well, it is creating that space, and it's creating those opportunities, because when you are in front of the net, the D-man doesn't want to be hitting on you or anything, because then I just turn around and knock him out. So it was like, well, shit, But, yeah, I think that second year really, really did, paint that picture. And that's what I was trying to do in the next levels going up was I didn't want to have to fight somebody 10, 20 times. I wanted to fight them once or twice and be like, I'm done with you. Move on. But, unfortunately, things don't always pan out the way you think.
Was that second year the first time you're like, I could play in the NHL, or even not yet?
I think so. I think even that second year, because I got the opportunities. Peter Anholt, my coach back in the day, gave me those opportunities. He let me sink or swim. And that's what was cool about it. And, even in the minor leagues, we had Mike Foligno and Jay Wells, and, he put me on the power plays. He put me out there in certain instances that, I could either make it or break it. And, it worked out. And then I get to the show, and then fucking crickets. You can't play 2 goddamn minutes a game and expect anything out of anybody. I mean, give Joe Sakic 2 minutes a game and see what the fuck he does with it. So it's kind of like,
Like, I proved I kind of could do it. Like, give me 7 minutes one game.
Exactly. Yeah, or at least give 5. I mean, you don't want to be cold. You don't want to be out of it. I mean, there was time during the games where I'd untie my skates. This is fucking bullshit.
Oh, wow. You were one of those guys too, eh?
Oh, God, yeah, nice, bud. Okay. I mean,
I feel your pain, my friend.
I mean, we're not wearing skates that are, 2 sizes big anyway. So, I mean, everything's crammed, everything's jammed, and, all you want to do is your job. But, the coaches tell you to be proactive, but when you don't have a shift, it's hard to do it. So
we're not very professional around here, so we finally just got you some water if you need some.
Thanks, brother. I'm a little parched.
Yeah. We actually have the heater on in here, so we're trying to make you sweat it out.
I want to go back to Kelowna for a second.
Absolutely.
One of our former guests, friend of the program, Todd Fedoric, you guys are buddies and teammates, and you beat him up in the locker room in front of your GM, I understand.
Yeah, Toddy. But that's that fun shit, though. I mean, it was the playoffs the one year we were in Tri-Cities, and I don't know what I had that morning, but me and Fridge are the only ones on the ice, and we're kind of playing one-on-one, just messing around, and I'm schooling him. I'm putting it through his feet. I'm dangling him. I'm doing all this stuff, and he's just steaming. I can see it coming out of his ears. It's like, calm down. It's okay. And he's like, fuck you, and this is fucking bullshit. And, it is what it is. But then next practice, he did it to me. So it is what it is. But then we get in the locker room, and I can still see him steaming. So I take off my tape, off my socks, and I toss it over to him and hit him like right above his eye. And he said,
"Game on."
He said, if that would have hit me in the eye, I would have drop kicked you in the head with my skate on. He says, oh, is that a fact? So I take off my other sock tape, no word of a lie, huck it at him, hits him right in the eye. I was like, oh, it's on. So Fridge gets up, runs over to me, and I grab a hold of him. He grabs a hold of me, and I was just like, no. And then I just swung and put his nose on the side of his face, and then Bruce comes running in. What's going on? And it's like, we're good. It's just
you're putting his nose back in place.
Yeah.
It's all good, Coach.
Yeah. It's the team mentality, but that's just what you do. It's like that brotherhood, and you fight and you bicker, but when shit hits the fan, you're in the trenches with your brothers. So.
You kind of mentioned it quickly about your coach being instrumental in giving you ice time and confidence. Like anybody else that you would want to give credit to for your development and the fact that you were able to excel in junior and gain enough confidence to end up getting drafted in the first round of the NHL?
Honestly, I mean, I think it was, Peter Anholt gave me those opportunities back in the day and let me shine and let me get those points, because even back then, too, trying to scout wasn't the easiest because you didn't have internet. So it was people getting on planes and getting in arenas and doing what, old school methods. So, definitely Peter. Like I said, David Waugh, I think it was. And then, Mike Foligno, Jay Wells in the minors. I mean, that was freaking awesome. And Hershey, too, in the old barn. Like, there's some character there, and we had some melees in that barn as well.
Yeah, so. What was the one that you ended up having in the minors? Okay, bring it up, Merles. Tee him up.
Stole my question again on
No, go ahead. Go ahead,
that's
buddy.
what I said. You weren't in the minors long, but you definitely left your mark with the infamous brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the whole background.
What was the name of it?
No, it's just
Helen Hershey.
Helen Hershey.
Helen Hershey was the nickname for it, and basically it was, Troy Crowder was on the team, And Troy, he played in the NHL for years, watching him in Jersey and fighting Probert and doing everything he did. So it was awesome having Troy on the team. And then we were playing Kentucky, and Garrett Brunette, which is unfortunately not with us anymore, he passed away a couple weeks ago. They got in a tussle and go to the ice, and Krause is on his back, and the ref had him kind of pinned to the ground, and the other guy let go of Brunette's arm, and then instead of Brunette getting off him, he swung when he was on the ice, bounced Troy's head off the ground, and basically
Shit's on.
I could see crowds like he was out of it. I could see he was already concussed. He'd already taken it because he was not convulsing, but he was trying to get up, and he couldn't do anything.
Baby deer.
Yeah, and unfortunately at that time, his mom was 4 rows up in the stands, and I was like, oh, hell no. So I looked back at Mike, our coach, and I says, can I go? And he goes, no. And I was like, I'm steaming. I look back at Brunette, and he's just getting up and kind of skating across the ice, and I was like, oh, fuck no. I said, can I go? And I don't know if Mike said go or no. I grabbed Bruce Richardson, our teammate right next to me. I says, boop, you're on the ice first. So, yeah, Richie goes on the ice, and then I hop the boards, and I'm screaming down. I scream right in front of Kentucky's bench. And
let's go.
Yeah, I went right after Brunette because the door was right next to the bench, and they had just pushed him off the ice and closed it. And I looked at Brunette through the glass, and I pointed at him, and I gave him the neck, like
the throat slash.
It's on. So then from there, I just started taking my tie down off, and I was like, if I ever get in a brawl, what would I do? I'm taking all my shit off, because what are they going to do, give me a penalty? Fuck off. So I strip all my shit off, and I'm just skating around, and I see Ville Niemann in the corner with somebody, and he's not getting taken, but, I was like, am I going to help him out? So I go over and freaking knock that dude out from the side, and then that's when Goslin comes over, and we get into it, and then I'm punching him a couple times, and then he goes down. Then I put my knee on his chest, and I start the lawnmower on his head, and then he eventually gets up. I thought I was done with him, but then he kept coming around. I don't know if we had a bungee cord attached to us or what, but I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Leave me alone. I already knocked you out. But then we fought again, and then eventually we get over to the Zamboni area in the corner, and I think at that time I was throwing lefts, and then both refs grabbed my left, and I was like, gotcha. So I switched to my right, and I just braked like 2 of his ribs. Or I just remember seeing blood coming out of his mouth, and I was like, oh, sweet. Okay. So,
got him.
Yeah, got him. So that happened, and then everything was kind of mellow, and then I went and reached for, I think it was Bradley.
Seems like it was hell for Hershey. That should be the name of it.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, I tell you what. I mean, you talk about bringing a team together, and, after that, I think we went like 10-0. It was like every team after that was like
nothing galvanized.
Yeah, I don't mess with that team. Yeah,
did you get like the 10-game sussy for leaving the bench, or was that not even around then?
Honestly, I think I got $1,000 fine and like a 4-game suspension. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do this in the show. And they were like, no.
You pushed Richardson on the ice. He probably got the 10-game. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Richie. Appreciate you, bud. See, teamwork right there.
Right, so let's go to Colorado, man. You get there, your first training camp. First off, were there a lot of scraps still at that time? And, guys backing up your tree. And second, man, you walk in Sakic, Forsberg, Patty Waugh, Claude Lemieux. You're probably starstruck as well.
Definitely. Well, back then, too, we had McNichols, so Pepsi Center wasn't here, so we had the old barn. And
how was that place?
It was cool.
It looked like it was crazy in some of those old playoff games.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that atmosphere, and like, old barns, it just has character, and like there's spirits and shit in the rafters. So these new barns, it doesn't, you don't have dead people in there yet. So, but those old barns, like Hershey barn, like, holy shit, don't be there at night. You hear some weird shit, and you're like, uh-oh. Yeah. Get taken out by Milton Hershey with a freaking Hershey's bar or something. No, but, it was awesome. I mean, I remember even getting up the first time I was called up. I literally just had a chair in the corner, and I was so stoked. I was like, all right, I made it. I didn't even have a stall because McNichols, it wasn't, a huge locker room. It wasn't, fancy like the new places are, but I was like, sweet, I made it. And it was just, I didn't have a lot of fights early in the career because it was really Jeff Odgers, and we had Warren Reichel. There wasn't really much fighting that had to be done, in
with
training
your team
camps.
too. The team was so good, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was really just, it was already kind of set. It was really, am I going to even crack this lineup, or am I going to make this roster type of deal? But my first year, I was called up 6 times, so up and down multiple times. And then the 99 year, I was in Hershey the whole year, which I think probably helped me out pretty good. I mean,
I saw that you were up for like 27 games first year, didn't get any the next year.
Exactly.
I didn't
yeah.
know if you kind of panicked or you were almost like, maybe I'm just building my game down here in Hershey.
Honestly, I just went with the flow. I was ready and willing anytime I was going to get called up, but it was kind of the circumstances where I don't know who had a lot of input in on it, but I know if Bob Hartley had anything to do with it, I was fucked because that guy did nothing for my career.
Yeah,
So
you've been pretty vocal about your animosity towards him now. Like,
yeah.
where does it stem from? Like, do you have? I mean, do you care to share like the personal stories?
Honestly, I mean, even the one game I played 10 and a half minutes against Minnesota one night, got 3 assists. I think I was first or second star. I get called into his office after the game. He basically sits me down and says, "That's not your game. I don't want you ever doing that again." And like
that's such a kick in the dick.
That put such a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, "Hockey's hockey. Did we win? Was everybody safe? Then fuck off. I did my
had
fucking
the best
job."
game of my career, and you're
Exactly.
chirping me.
And he basically, just took me down 10 pegs. I was like, fine, I won't go through the fucking wall for you. And really, the only saving grace in Colorado was Brian Trottier. And Trotz was awesome for me. I
What
mean,
a classy guy.
I would literally go through any wall you put in front of me for that man. Like, Trotz is the man. And doing what he did in the show and the things he did back in the day, I mean, he walked the walk so he can talk the talk. And, he's been there, done that. So
What's so amazing to me in like the old school way, and I'm pretty sure I just said to Murr, I think Bob Hartley kind of taught Michel Therrien, and that was kind of something Therrien would have done. Like, whereas instead of looking at it as, all right, after your 3 assist 10-minute game, maybe if there's 3 games in a row when you're trying to make plays that you shouldn't and you've kind of changed your game, all right, listen, that wasn't your game. It was a great game, but let's get back to Scott Parker I want. Yeah. He just goes at you right after the game. It's like, dude, can I have 1 minute of
can I enjoy this? Yeah. Can I take it in? No. Let's take you right down. And I remember like the one year I had, I think 4 or 5 points in preseason, and I think the whole season I had 3 points. Because during preseason, I got to play. I got to play 8 to 11 minutes a game, so I had those points, and I was able to do. And then get into the regular season, I'm like, what's the difference? I see no difference.
Did you say much in the room at that point, or were you more just in shock and absorbing what your head coach?
Honestly, I was so early in my career. I wasn't trying to make waves. I wasn't trying to get people on my side. I wasn't trying to do anything like that. It was just like, this sucks because hockey's hockey, and we've been playing it since we were little, so it's not like it's changed.
So did you ever confront them about it at any point, or did you kind of just, because of the pecking order and like you just said, like it's just hard, you just more like, this is fucking bullshit and you're pissed off, but if that's what he's telling me, I got to do it?
Well, I didn't really have anybody to bounce anything off of. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to go bitch at a superstar because they're going to be like, fuck off, kid. This is your job type of deal. But it just kind of sucked at the point to where it's like, that's hockey. Like, and when you get those opportunities and you shine and you excel, then you think that, oh, maybe that's a good thing, or maybe I'll get something more out of it instead of going backwards. So I don't understand the thought process behind it, but he definitely got one less guy that would go through the wall for him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, who was your first goal against in the NHL, and how'd you score it?
Oh my God, was that Berkey? I think it was against Phoenix.
I know you have 7 in your
Biz
career, and that's the same amount as I do.
Is it?
And we're both skate on tires.
See,
we got a lot going for us.
Wow.
But
he's got a cup.
And I got shitty tattoos. You got good tattoos.
Like I tell everybody, I was just the best practice player in the league. So I scored all my goals in practice.
Exactly.
That's where it was.
And warm-ups.
For bragging
and
rights.
warm-ups, yeah. No, but I think it was against Berkey back in the day. It was in the old barn when it was in Phoenix, and I think it just kind of rimmed around the boards, and I don't know if Dinger. I think even Sakic was on the ice. I was like, "What are you doing on our line?" But maybe he was changing. He's like, "I'm not out here with these freaking pigeons." But it just eventually came to me in front of the net, and I just did what I did in practice all the time, and just put it high and put it in. So
we've asked. Just thinking of all the legends in that team, we asked who was telling us the funny story about picking up Patrick Waugh's helmet.
Oh, and was it Hayduk?
It was Hayduk, right?
Yeah, how you didn't fuck with his gear. Or maybe it was somebody who got traded over there. Grinelli's shaking his head. He's going to hop in here at a certain point once he pulls it out.
Either way, I'm kind of curious because as a guy like in practice dealing with Patrick Waugh, do you know not to shoot high? Did you ever get yelled at by him? Was it one of those things you just stayed away from him?
No, what was cool about Patty is I warmed him up every practice.
No shit, he trusted you.
Yes, and I could put the pucks wherever he wanted them. If you want 10 glove, I'm putting 10 glove. I'm not putting 9 glove and 1 at your head. I'm not doing that, but there would be times that guys would come out prior and try to do stuff and trying to shoot, and they'd be shooting them over mine and Patty's head, and then me and Patty would look at each other and we're like, pigeon. Nope. Yeah. So it was just, Patty was awesome. Patty definitely, he wore his heart on his sleeve for sure. I mean, he definitely was what he was because of what he brought to the game.
Wouldn't he sick you on guys if he didn't like him on the other team? Like, hey, go whack number 18 or so and so forth.
Yeah, and there was times really where back then, like the teams or guys, they could help you pay fines off and be like, hey, I do not like number 7. Go take care of him. You got my fine? Yep. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah. You can bring a contract in after pregame skate.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'd mainly just be a manila envelope. But here you go, kid. It's like, oh, sweet.
Hey, it was Craig Rivet in Montreal.
Oh, that's
who
right.
it was. He grabbed his helmet and Patrick Waugh came in. He's like, put that fucking thing down.
Yes, don't touch my shit.
Yeah,
Patty was awesome, and having him in the back end, literally guys would go down on breakaways on him, and we were like, he's got this. Like when we just go down on a 2-on-1 the other way. So he was just so good, and he was that third defenseman, being able to pass and to do the things he did before they did the trapezoid and all the shit behind the nets and everything. But he was definitely ahead of his time.
Your wife was wearing Adam Foote's son from Tampa Bay's jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would imagine that you have a close relationship with him. What's he like? He seems like an absolute character.
No, Cal's awesome. Both Cal and Noel are good kids, and getting to see them grow up in the locker room is even cooler. And it just makes me feel so fucking old right now.
Oh, it's crazy.
Because they're in the show. So, I mean, but, them, seeing them skate and seeing them advance. And our son was actually their Manny back in the day. So
He was
helped,
telling me that.
Yeah, he helped Adam and Jen out, getting them to practices and their games when Footy was playing. So just helped out, and it just worked out really well. And, we're still really good friends with the family. And, it's good to see the boys doing what they're doing. And Cal's got 2 rings already.
I know.
Yes.
Jesus. He's playing a big role this year, too.
Yeah,
He's playing some good hockey.
it's good. And they're actually giving him more ice time and more opportunities. And we're starting to see it really, really help out. So
You talked about putting Fridge's nose on the other side of his head. It looks like you did it to Adam Foote, too. That guy's got a toucan Sam on him.
Oh, Footy. We never messed around. I mean, Footy was...
That's why there's no oxygen here. He took it all when he played.
Oh, bloody, eh?
It's not even the high altitude.
I always wanted them to put trees in the Pepsi Center. It's like, put a goddamn tree in this place. Like, there's no goddamn oxygen in this
Giant
place.
evergreen in the concourse.
Exactly, yeah. It's just, let me breathe.
And now we have a word from our friends at Shopify. Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Shopify offers online retailers a suite of services including payments, marketing, shipping, and customer engagement tools. Connect with your customers, drive sales, manage your day-to-day. Shopify has thousands of integrations and third-party apps, from on-demand printing to accounting to advanced chatbots and beyond. So go to shopify.com/chiclets, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/chiclets right now.
Well, speaking of busted faces, you squared off with your idol Bob Probert, and I guess you apologized to him after the way the fight transpired, and then
Really?
you found out after the fact that he was actually nervous the night before, worried about fighting you, and you were a youngster.
Yeah, it's crazy the stories you hear after the fact. And, if I knew now what I knew then, it would be a lot different. But it doesn't work out that way. No. But literally, Proby was an idol. I mean, I think anybody that's that throws knuckles knows Proby and knows what he's done. And I asked him earlier in the game, and he did that cagey thing, not now, kid. And I was like, yes, sir, okay. And, I wasn't going to be a dick and slashing him and trying to, antagonize him or anything, because I didn't want him ripping my head off even more, because, he is Bob Probert. And I think we were winning 4-1 later in the game, and I'm skating up the ice, and I hear this tap. I feel this tap on the back of my leg. Let's go, kid. And I was like, okay, let's go. We going to Disneyland? Okay, let's go. It's like, yeah. So I grabbed a hold of Proby, and, I was doing pretty good there for a little bit. And then I went to go re-grab, and then he lifted his arm at the same time. I grabbed under his armpit, and then he just teed off on me. And it was a learning lesson. And I always find it funny that people that have comments about it now fuck off with your comments and your
go fight
bullshit.
You try standing toe to
You
toe
fight
with them.
Probert
Hey,
or
don't
come
go on Twitter.
or come see me in Grand Lake. I'll fucking tune you up. Either way, you think it's so fucking easy. It's fucking nut.
Exactly.
But, everybody thinks that I was, being a dick to him, but he literally knocked me out. I'm out on my feet. I just have a death grip on him, and that was always kind of one of my things was my grip. If I got a hold of you, you ain't getting away.
Yeah.
So I had a death grip on him, and, eventually came to once Odgers and Deadmarsh came over and tapped me and brought me back into my body. I was like, hey, what's up, boys? And they were like, Parksy, look. I was like, oh, shit, Proby. Oh, sorry about that, and let go of him. And
It's like lockjaw on a dog.
exactly, yeah. But I was literally I remember the refs trying to yank my fingers and hitting my hands, and I was like, no, not going to happen. And I was literally, it was an out of body experience. I literally was out of my body going, that stupid kid. Well, look what he's doing. And that was me. But it was a learning lesson. And, the next time Proby and I played, I was just like, I really apologize about what I did. And he's like, that's all right, kid. You're going to have a long career. And, I've done worse than you. So I was like,
Oh, he
okay.
said that?
Yeah. And then come to find out, we do the Bob Probert ride. Unfortunately, after Probert's already passed, and Danny tells us a story that, Proby was up the one night before they come to Colorado, and he's like, Danny, this kid's, he's tough, and I don't know, and he was worried. And, I think even my whole career, I think you always have the butterflies and you always have the thought, because you don't want to think, oh, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, or you get tuned up and you're done. So you always have to have, a little bit of all of it for it to work out. But
Yeah, the fear might almost help you in that aspect, right? Where it's almost like a player too. If he's a skill player, gets too comfortable, somebody's coming for your job in either fighting or doing whatever you're doing in life.
exactly. Yep.
I remember playing with guys that did a lot of fighting, and there were certain styles, like some guys you could always beat, and there was other guys you could never beat. Did you have any guys either way like that?
Certain guys like Brashear, he always fought different because he would always kind of pull you in, do the weird instead of, when me and Georgie would fight, we just hang each other out and see who hit harder. Basically, it was kind of the mentality. But, Brash had some different, techniques. And I remember fighting Louis DeBrusco one time in Phoenix, and holy farm boy strong, like damn, like Louis, holy shit. Like I thought I was strong and I thought I was tough, and Louis, holy shit balls, like that man was put together something fierce. And you don't really know it until you grab a hold of someone sometimes that what they're made of, because sometimes you can grab someone and they just feel like Gumby, like a wet noodle, and some guys you grab and you're like, holy shit, you're a boulder and this is going to be a fight. So yeah, it was just sometimes you didn't know until you were in it.
Going back to that Proby ride, I know you do a ton of charity work. What exactly is it? Where is it? I know that Danny ended up coming to Muskoka and talking about it, but just for the people listening, what do you do every year?
Yeah, it's basically the Bob Probert ride. They do it up in Windsor. It's really cool what they do. They've been doing it for, 10 plus years now. I think with COVID, a couple years have passed, but they just raise money for the the hospitals up there that unfortunately didn't have the machine that they needed to keep, Proby alive when he had the episode up in Canada there. So hopefully it will help out that next family that could possibly have that issue and hopefully be able to save their loved one. So that's what they're all about.
That's awesome.
I got to circle back to Patty. Wow, obviously you won the Conn Smythe. You guys won the Cup. We've been talking about it so much we didn't even get to the Stanley Cup yet. You guys were down 3-2 going back to Jersey for that pivotal Game 6. Did anyone on the team speak up before the game, or did everybody know the mission at hand in a situation like that?
Honestly, it was all about double sevens that year. I mean, Borky.
Yeah.
I mean, that literally was our drive. Was Bork. I mean,
He scored that Game 6 in New Jersey too.
He
I
did.
remember off
Yep.
a face-off.
mm-hmm. That and being able to bring it back and being able to win it at home was, I think, the best. But I think I think everybody in the room really knew what needed to be done. Certain guys would talk. Footy was pretty vocal and Patty would be vocal, but really it was all about double sevens and do whatever you have to get the job done. So that was the mindset.
Do anything unusual or different for your Cup celebration?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Back to the motorcycle.
Oh boy, D-Mac. Yeah, you take number 2 on this one, because I was the first one that put the Stanley Cup on a Harley, and luckily the Cup carrier Mike, had a really good chat with him. I didn't drink the whole day. I even told him, I said, when we build this bracket and we do everything, we're going to get it to to the bar, and then after that, it's all yours, and then I'm going to get schnockered. But, it was basically the first time that the Stanley Cup was ever on the Harley, so got to rip it down the road, and we literally had, oh my God, probably 20 or 30 bikes in the convoy and probably 20 cars behind that. And this is before drones or anything cool, so we couldn't catch everything aerial, but it was just really cool to be able to bring it to my folks at the time. Just moved to Montana. So we used to live in Washington State, and that's where I basically took the cup back to, was our little town of maybe 2,000 people. And this little town of 2,000 people turned into almost 10,000 people. So it was just really cool to see and to be a part of. So
you mentioned Darren McCarty there. So he claims, and here going back to the Colorado-Detroit rivalry. So
Unrivaled.
This might have to be settled at a ball hockey tournament somewhere. He claims he was the first one to ever put the Stanley Cup on a Harley and go for a ride. You claim that you're the first. Is there photo evidence? Is there?
I have it from 01. I thought he did it in, where'd they win it, in 07?
Like 4 times?
Yeah, like 10 times after that. It was like after we won it. Yeah. But honestly, I thought it was after, but I don't know. Me and D-Mac are really close, and we get along, and we're actually trying to petition Stevie Y, and we're going to take over the coaching staff in Detroit.
Okay,
imagine these
wow.
Little Colorado Bud trade.
Yeah.
Bring it back, boys.
Yeah, I know you guys. You just got to make a large shipment from Colorado State over to Detroit, and I bet you guys will have yourself a job.
There's some guys in the Quebec Senior League just licking their lips now. If he takes over, perfect. I'm going to be on the Red Wings next year.
Yep. Looking for toughness and goal scorers.
Have you ever spoken with Stevie Y personally?
No. Well, we just kind of thrown the idea around and really just seen other guys that played in my era now coaching. It's like, it's maybe a good transition. I think I still have
if Marty St. Louis could do it, we could do it, right?
Yeah, hey, come on. I mean,
Come on.
I see Steve Ott on the bench. I'm like, come on, Otter, come on.
He's a sharp guy.
He
He found a way to piss everybody off on the ice while burying 20 a year and cashing in no state tax in Texas.
Pox, didn't you one time bury somebody inadvertently and you turned around and it was 99 Wayne Gretzky and a little skirmish ensued? What happened?
Hey, that's my TNT
So
part.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. Sorry, Wayno.
Gretzky's already. Vince ain't gonna do shit. Don't worry.
Wayne, you're on your own on this one.
Yeah. Oh, that was McNichols too, but I had fought Darren Langdon like the first shift of the game. So I kind of already got that out of the way. And then I can't remember even what the score was or what I was doing on the ice with Gretzky. But, the puck gets rimmed around the boards, and I just do what hockey players do. I was like, oh, body, hit him. So just wheel up and boom, boom. And he's almost like the squeals going down the glass. And I was like, oh, my God, that's freaking the great one. I was like, oh, shit. So I just look around. I'm waiting for someone to jump me or melee to happen. Nothing happened. I was like, oh, skated one there. But I remember their coach coming out on the ice after our coach after the game. I was like, sweet. Yeah.
League ban.
Yeah.
Coming right at you.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't intentionally. I know that, he's definitely one of the ones you don't touch, but I don't think I hit him very hard. Let's just say that. Yeah.
And now, here's a word from our friends at Sling TV. Sling TV has something for everyone. All your favorite shows on your favorite channels, all right at your fingertips. What you watch is up to you. It really just depends on what kind of mood you're in. So if you're looking for sports, Sling's got you covered with pro and college football and basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, racing, and so much more. Sling also has reality TV so you can keep up with the latest gossip in today's hottest shows with channels like TLC, Bravo, MTV, and a whole bunch more. If you're a news junkie, boom, Sling TV's got you covered there with plenty of channels as well. Feeling adventurous? Explore thousands of movies and shows on demand. So what kind of mood are you in? No matter what your answer, Sling has what you need. And getting Sling is easy. Sign up and start watching in just 5 minutes. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. And the best part is you can pause or customize your subscription at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the TV you love for a price you love. Try us today.
And I would got to mention the sussy for the Brenda Witt incident in Nashville. You basically try to scale the glass like King Kong there. You almost got over it if the ref did, the linesman didn't grab you. Mm-hmm. Did he say something in particular, or had you already snapped by that point? Like, usually you don't see guys trying to scale the glass like that.
Yeah, I was already kind of gone by then. Yeah. And actually what's funny, too, is Witter and I know each other after the fact, too. I didn't know him at the time, but literally it was Tutu that started it, the little shit. He's whacking me on my legs going up the ice. And I was like, leave me alone, kid. Leave me alone. And he just kept doing it. So I just reached back and elbowed him and sent him into the corner. And then I went over and tried to fight. Oh God, what was the goalie? Was it Weber? Basically tried to fight their goalie. I was like, "You want to go?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Stay away from me,
It's
sir.
like, "Go where? Go to Taco Bell or McDonald's?" Okay. But, tried to do that and then got into the penalty box. And then I was cleaning my stick off to the ref. And then he kicked me out of the game. But by the time I got halfway across the ice, I'd already flipped the switch. And
You were seeing red.
it was on, yeah. And then basically it was Hordichuk, I think it was on the bench, and Witter was on the bench. And something happened. I got halfway down the tunnel. I was like, fuck this. And I turned around and I just tried to scale it. So I don't know.
The wires cross, man.
happens.
You know what you're
It
doing.
happens, yeah. It was definitely a wire cross situation, and shit happens.
Did the wires cross when you during the lockout when you ended up becoming a tow truck driver or what?
Yeah, that was fun too. I just don't like
How
sitting
the hell
stagnant.
did that happen?
Honestly, just living where we did. Had a buddy that owned a tow truck company, and we would hang out at his shop quite a bit. And I don't know. There's something about. I like big trucks. I like hydraulics, and I like shit that can pick stuff up and how you can flip cars over. I was like, this is badass. So I drove it for probably about 3 weeks, and then I get a call from the Avs to come down to the Pepsi Center. So I drove to the tow truck down to the Pepsi Center in my overalls, wheel into Pierre's office. I was like, hey, I'm here. What do you guys need? They're like, we'll have a contract for you. And I was like, oh, sweet. But I didn't have a job until then. So I was like, well, I guess I get to change this out for an Avs jersey again. So it's amazing how things happen, but I don't like sitting stagnant. I like trying shit and being a part of, and I'd rather do it than watch.
Did you have a
someone do it.
follow-up about the Witt situation?
I was going to say, I think you only got 2 games for that. You probably would get, 20 today, or half a season if you try to do that today.
Who knows? Yeah, who's even
Or,
the
a star in a blockbuster film
well,
with
you never know.
Godzilla trying to clear the glass.
I'm game. Hey, I'm available. I just
Said he'll try anything.
The new Marvel.
I really can't speak worth shit though, so you got to give me like murmur. I could be like an old school guy that talks, but
Oh, he can't speak
subtitles.
either, RA, but he's a movie star now. You get a Hulu contract before you know it.
Oh
I
shit!
mean, it's funny. We barely even scratched. We haven't even scratched the surface with San Jose. You played with Joe Thornton there. I got to ask, as a Bruins fan, when you guys found out you're getting Joe Thornton, you're obviously psyched. When the team found out what San Jose had to give up from, was the whole locker room laughing at the Bruins?
Honestly, it was unbelievable on our end because we did get an unbelievable player, and what they got. Yeah, it is what it is, but that's what trades are all about, and you never know. But then, unfortunately, Joe gets traded, and then the Bruins win in 08 or something or 9.
Yeah, a few years, about 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years later, but it just kind of sucks because talking to those boys, the biggest pinnacle, and you can win every trophy and every award ever, but when you don't get to hoist the cup, that's kind of the pinnacle. That's it.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah, exactly. And I know it definitely hurts them that they were never able to do that, and Joe may have one more year in him. You never know.
Oh, you
The
never
old
know.
jumbo.
You just got to get him a walker at this point. I think that's where I was at the end of my career and how slow I was moving out there. But
That or just
he
gotta
might
bring,
have had a better brain.
he just brings me back, and I'll protect him.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be cheap.
Ron Wilson, another guy you weren't a big fan of. Would you have a skirmish with a pencil with him or something? Or,
Yeah, it was actually funny. I was trying to talk to him on the road the one time. He just kept ignoring me and kept doing the big dick thing and like I'm the coach and you'll fucking bow to me kind of mentality. And basically just eventually got to get into his room and he starts fucking talking and I literally don't know what he was saying. I saw a pencil on his desk and I literally just thought to myself, I was like, what would it feel like and look like if I just took this and jammed it in your fucking eye socket? And that's literally the whole time. He was Charlie Brown's teacher. Womp, 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 womp. And I was looking at this pencil going, So he doesn't know how close to death he came that day. And fuck you, Ron.
hey, Ron, why
he
so
give it-
serious?
Yeah, why so
Did
serious?
he give you the same speech that Bob Hartley was trying to give you?
I honestly, like I said, it was Charlie Brown's teacher, and all I wanted to do was jam that pencil in his eye. Like that's,
So those two guys, worst coaches you ever had?
I would think so. Yeah, not really worth much.
How fired up were you to go back to Colorado? I mean, that's your spot where you first came up, and I'm guessing never really felt as comfortable in San Jose as you did here.
I would think so, just because our home base was here.
Yeah.
And, my wife was still working at the time, and it was just, being disconnected and being in San Jose. I had taken the puck in the eye socket in 05, and I was going through some pretty bad stuff there. The team was trying to do whatever they could for me, but, I just felt so disconnected there that I just didn't feel a part of. And I know it wasn't any lack of on their end because they were trying certain things, but it was just tough. When you're trying to drive up to Oakland and you're having super migraines, and back then I was having some seizures and a few things going on, and medically that. All I wanted to do was my job. I didn't want to lose it, so I would do everything I could to keep it, and it wasn't
So it's
the easiest.
snowballing, right?
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be trying to play. You're trying to play through things. And
that or even trying to drive, like trying to be on those roads or trying to navigate or trying to do any of that kind of stuff. I mean, there'd be times I'd leave the games, and I'd be heading up Oakland, heading up, 880, and they were like, I was like, holy shit, this isn't where I live. And I'd be an hour away from home. So I would just be so discombobulated that I just pull over and reset, or I'd have to call my wife, and then she would basically talk me through the navigational, and I'd set everything up, and it was like I had to relearn certain things on the fly.
And no doubt that's from, you think, a result of all the head trauma from fighting all those years.
I think the fighting for sure, as well as that puck I took, it just hit me directly in the eye socket and broke my nose in like 2 or 3 spots, broke my orbital bone, basically bruised my brainstem at the same time.
Was it a deflection? Or
it was basically, one of the boys, it was practice. It was like 4 games before season starts, and one of the boys does a button hook in the corner and passes it out to me. I go to one-time it. It hit a divot on the ice, hit my shaft, and shot straight up and hit me right in the eye socket.
Ouch. What a brutal bounce.
It was just a freaky thing, and I'd been hit in the head I don't know how many times with pucks, and then you come back from it, but that one literally was a deal breaker. Yeah, everything after that was just compiled hard. Every fight, every hit, everything I would do.
Oh, you just feel it more.
Yeah, it would take me so much longer to rebound or heal or to get back to somewhat normal. I mean, there was one time I went to go run someone, and I was basically out on my feet again, and then the team's yelling at me like to change, and I'm just looking at the birds flying around my head. I'm like, oh, pretty
From
birds.
the tree and the Pepsi sound that you.
Yeah, fucking that one tree. Yeah, freaking that Avatar tree. It's there.
Yeah.
You guys never seen that Avatar tree? It's awesome. It's the coolest tree ever.
Well, Pox, you've been super generous with your time today. We gotta wrap up here. We gotta head to the pot. Any of you guys have anything else before?
No, Merles, did you have anything else written? I'm gonna.
I had one other thing about the Bertuzzi brawl and all of that. You were involved with some of that. What was that all like? All that.
I wasn't on the
drama?
I wasn't on the team at the time. I was in San Jose, but I totally 100% get Todd Bertuzzi's back all day long because, unfortunately, I did play with Steve Moore, and I know what he's about. And some guys you like, some guys you don't, and some guys you respect, some guys you
Harvard nerd.
punch in the head. Well, what's funny too is like I told Georgie Peros, he went to Princeton. I was like, I'm going to knock the smarts right out of you. Like, I'll hit you so hard your IQ will be the same as mine. So
Fuck up some smart kids.
yeah, exactly, but it's just that mentality. But that's what hockey's all about. It's bickering, it's bantering, it's taking one, it's giving one, and some guys can do it, some guys can't. Some guys get washed, and some guys should just leave the fucking sport.
And the whole reason we're here is for the Avalanche game. Do you watch a lot of them this year, and
Oh, yeah.
you think they can win the cup?
I think the boys have a good chance. They just got to stay healthy. And what's up with the third string goalies? Just every team.
It's crazy.
I'm coming back as a tender, boys. I'm the fourth string. I'm coming back.
Hey, let's
Former
get back.
soccer goalie.
Hey, let's get
there
back.
you go.
Let's get back to that military training. I'll come with you. I'll come back as a goalie too.
Yeah, hitting bulls and climbing rope. And
Maybe
shooting
let's
guns.
start with Chiclets Cup. You could be my e-bugs. You're signed.
Biz, I'm glad you said that. Parker's Platoon is your organization.
Yeah, that's what
Yep.
I wanted to bring up.
ParkersPlatoon.org, no apostrophe in there, and you give a quick explanation of what the organization does.
Yeah, we just help veterans transition when they come home. We actually had a team that's active that was here this winter. We took snowmobiling, so we just do whatever we can to show them what they fight so hard for, so they can come back and enjoy it with us and with their families and everyone else, and just do the best job they can do and come home and enjoy it.
Excellent. Yes. Again, it's ParkersPlatoon.org if you'd like to help out, make a contribution. So, anything else, boys? Or?
No,
Okay, that was excellent.
And on top of that, I know that you do help a lot of former players who are suffering from mental health issues, whether it's from concussion or personal life stuff. You do a lot of amazing things. We are so happy to get you on. I wanted to wait till we got you in person. We're going to get you on again, but thank you so much for your time, and congrats on an amazing career. You're a boss.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. Next time we're doing it in the winter, and we're going to go on
Absolutely.
sleds,
Yes,
and we're going to have some fun.
We're gonna wrestle some bears.
Yeah.
There we go. Some polar bears.
then
The
I'll get
the other ones will be
And
hibernating.
then I'll get a real tattoo.
Fucking right.
Yogi Bear. Big thanks to Pox and his fam for making the trip all the way down to Denver for an awesome chat. Great time with those folks. Good stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Want to let you know his interview is also brought to you by Roman. Hey guys, testosterone affects a lot of aspects of men's fitness and health. From sex drive to muscle and bone mass, the experts believe testosterone plays a huge role in our body's natural function. But men's testosterone starts to deplete with age, which is why it's important you support it early. Roman T Support is meant to help men maintain their body's natural testosterone production with the proprietary supplement formulated by Roman's in-house doctors. Roman T Support is not testosterone replacement therapy, and it is not meant to treat people with testosterone deficiency syndrome. Go to GetRoman.com/chiclets to get $15 off your first order of Roman T Support. That's GetRoman.com/chiclets. One more time for the folks in the back, GetRoman.com/chiclets. All right, gang, thanks for tuning in once again. Do not forget to check out our YouTube for classic clips and interviews, not to mention the Chiclets Cup stuff that we just dropped last week. Terrific job by Corey and his staff once again. It's like a mini movie. I told you he did a terrific job. Hopefully everybody settled down after a little hostilities in the locker room, but I think it's all laughs and we had some fun. So listen, have a great week, and we'll catch up.
Hey, also, RA, one more thing. Also, make sure to follow Big Deal Brewing on both Twitter and Instagram. We're trying to grow those accounts, trying to get it going. So follow those accounts, and that's probably where we'll be dropping all the information regarding Big Deal Brewing.
Yes, I can't wait. I wish we had some up on my summer cottage here in Vermont, but alas, we'll be having it for hockey season, so that's all that matters. All right, but everybody have a great week.